Morning, everyone. I was saying that Justin Trudeau and Andrew Scheer are kind of two sides of the same coin. The Overton window, which is the acceptable political dialogue, has been closing regularly, and these two talking about differences in policy, well, it's like two people talking about the same cup, right? Like there's not a whole lot to say, so they throw insults at each other. So here's Maclean's article that's trying to convince people that maybe one of these two is going to win. Maybe, possibly. Maclean's article is titled Battle of the Bads. Tom Parkin, with two unpopular party leaders, expect the coming election campaign to be heavy on the overwrought rhetoric and negativity. If you can't wait for more overwrought rhetoric and negative attacks, good times are coming. Last weekend, Conservative leader Andrew Scheer tweeted that Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has, quote, actively worked to shut down our national resources sector. Not to be outdone, Trudeau accused Scheer of declaring war on the Canada Food Guide. Not mentioned by either was Attawapiscat's ongoing water emergency, or continued auto sector job losses, or rising rents and out-of-reach house prices, the price of childcare, or out-of-pocket medical costs. And expect them to be ignored more. The election campaigns of Trudeau and Scheer will be about Scheer and Trudeau. No opportunity for a negative attack by one on the other will be left behind, and no attack will lack overwrought rhetoric, because there's a compelling political logic, a problem, and an opportunity. Both Scheer and Trudeau are disliked leaders. How can we believe what they say? According to the most recent Angus Reid survey released last week, Trudeau's approval rating is at an all-time low at just 32%. While that poll didn't report on the Conservative leader's approval score, slightly older data from Forum Research and Campaign Research shows that Scheer's approval rating is either similar or lower. People tend not to believe a disliked politician. That's a problem. But when there's two disliked leaders, it's an opportunity. An attack on a disliked leader is likely to be believed, even when made by another disliked politician. It's a battle of the bads, and we can see it playing out in the composition of party voting. Composition of party voting. According to Angus Reid, just 56% of those who plan to vote either Liberal or Conservative are doing so because they, quote, like the party and what it stands for. Almost half, 44% of each party, say they mostly plan to vote Liberal or Conservative because they, quote, dislike another party even more and want to stop them from winning. These aren't supporters, they're anti-supporters. Take away the anti-supporters and Liberals or Conservative support is around 20%. To win, each must try to corral the other's anti-supporters into their voting coalition. So mudslingers are locked and loaded, let fling overwrought rhetoric and negative attacks of war. Some scribes may say this is just modern politics, and maybe it is, but not in the way they mean. For a year after election, Trudeau rode a crest of hopefulness, sustaining an approval rating over 60%. Now that goodwill is gone, and it wasn't spent battling vested interests while working to implement reforms that benefit Canadians. It evaporated as light shone on Trudeau's public insincerity. Public infrastructure turned out to be a new privatization scheme. Housing investment was pushed into the far future. Pharmacare was set for more study. Tax haven protections went untouched. Corporate favors buried in omnibus bills continued. Electoral reform was dumped. Far from fixing insider Ottawa, Trudeau gave crinkly-eyed smiles while gently blaming Jody for his SNC scandal. And Andrew Scheer appears just never took off. He remains on the launch pad, loyally reading Harper-era scripts and having offered little other policy. He's now having his policy blank spaces colored in by the tax giveaways and cuts of Ontario Premier Doug Ford. So we have two disliked leaders who can only be believed when disliking each other. And chances are, when the battle of the bad is done, one will hold the prize, 4 years to please the powerful and disappoint the people. Yet there's always this chance Canadians will demand something better. I think something better is, well, he just introduced the immigration speech of modern Canadian politics the other day. His name is Maxime Bernier. Here's an interesting story. This is in Canada, and this is concerning, very concerning the implications of this are incredibly dire. Here's Sheila Gunn Reid, and Sheila is an author and a journalist. She works for the Rebel Media, which shouldn't color anyone's opinion of her. Where you work is not necessarily who you are, right? And I mean, some people really enjoy the corporations that they work for and other people don't. And you can have a job and just have a job. But I think it's interesting how they try and color people who are connected to the Rebel as bad. Again, should not the content of your character, your personal character, matter more than who you work for, or what color your skin is, or what color your hair is, or what color your religion is, whatever. It doesn't matter what your religion is. It doesn't matter what color your hair is or your skin or anything to that effect. What matters is the content of your character. So this is interesting. And that's a quick aside because it doesn't have anything to do with the story. Sheila is being told by the government of Canada, Elections Canada in Alberta, and I believe this is a provincial because it has to do with Rachel Notley, but she's being audited for her private notes for this book that she wrote about Rachel Notley. And full disclosure, I didn't read the book. I haven't bought the book. I don't know anything about the book other than this controversy, but it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. So here's Sheila Gunn Reid. Here's her tweet. She says, I'm 3-time best-selling author and I'm a journalist and at the largest independent news outlet in Canada. However, if I don't turn over my personal emails about the planning of my StopNotley.com book to government investigators, I can face serious fines. And here's the Rebel tweeting this out. And I'm going to play this little clip here because it's very concerning. I mean, very concerning. We're just going to listen to this part that's on the screen here.
People don't cooperate, and then they get obstruction, the offense for obstruction. I hope rather it not come to that. I think it's something that we can be cleared up pretty easily.
He says.
Sorry about that, everyone. This video kept timing out and saying it couldn't be played, so that's the best I could do. But basically, they were saying, obstruction charges are pretty bad. You should probably listen to what we're saying. Other people are weighing in. Here's Michael Taube, and he says, agreed, I just listened to Sheila Gunn Reid's video, and this whole matter is completely preposterous. It would be wise for Premier Kenney and the Alberta United Conservative Party government to take a look into it. And yeah, this is a Rebel Media link here, and it says the Alberta Elections Commissioner is threatening Sheila with prosecution for writing a book critical of Rachel Notley. So there's a lot more to this story. I'm not going to really get into it too much, but I wanted to show you that this is happening in Canada. If you write a book and they don't like it, they will come after you, and they will come after you with the law, because that's how this works. And talking about silencing journalists, talking about freedom of the press, talking about being able to criticize the people who are leading us, talking about being able to freely criticize and share your ideas is important. And that's part of what this election is going to be about. So this is happening. This is happening now. And if we don't continue to demand freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and demand that as a cornerstone of our democracy, it will quickly evaporate, and people will be silenced through the law and through threats of violence and hateful mobs. And apparently that's okay. I don't understand. I don't know how anybody can look at this and say that this is above board and what should be happening with an author and journalist. Was she slanderous? I don't think so. And I haven't read the book, so I don't know, but I don't think so. Check it out. Thank you for watching. Check out thepeoplespartyofcanada.ca and have a wonderful, wonderful day.